Hey tech enthusiasts, this is Saf here and welcome back to my channel. Today I have with me two of the best global foldable phones available in the market right now. I am going to be comparing them in 6 different categories, and based on the 6 different categories I am going to be scoring them. So the 6 categories are design, display, software, camera, speakers and battery, and at the end of the comparison we can see which one fares better. So before we jump in, if you haven't done so, please do make sure you hit the subscribe button and the bell icon so you don't miss any of my upcoming videos. So without further ado, let's jump in. So when you compare the design of the Vivo X Fold 3 Pro, when folded, the whole thickness is 11.2 millimeters, which is relatively slim. However, when you compare that with the Fold 6, this one has got 12.1 millimeter thickness. However, when you compare these two, the biggest difference what you see is this one has got curved edges and it does not has any sharp corners. When you compare that with the Fold 6, the Fold 6 has got a very boxy construction. Because of the boxy construction, it's got a very sharp edges. Both have got a brushed aluminum frame. However, the brushed aluminum in the Samsung is much more well made. In the Samsung, it's more of a boxier design with a flat screen. For some people who like flat screens, they will definitely prefer the Samsung when compared to the Vivo. Vivo has got slightly a curved display. I won't say it's a big massive curve. When you compare the weight of them, the official websites of both of them say the Samsung weighs 239 grams, whereas the Vivo weighs 236 grams. However, the most interesting part is when I weighed the Samsung weighs 243 grams. That's a difference of 4 grams. The same thing goes for the Vivo as well. The Vivo in the website says 236 grams. However, in reality, it is 247 grams. Well, to be honest, it does not matter because both of them weigh very less. When you have them in your hand, the weight distribution is quite good. Biggest complaint which everybody had as far as the Samsung foldables were, they were quite narrow. At least in this year's Fold, they have actually made it slightly bigger, but still they are quite narrow. However, when you compare that with the Vivo, it has got much more wider screen, which is easier to type when you compare that with the narrow Fold 6. And also, that is how they look when they are right next to each other. So you can actually see how slim they are. The Vivo, it is definitely slim. That is how they are in the sideways. The biggest difference is the hinges. The Samsung has gone for much more slimmer aluminum hinge. The Vivo has gone for the carbon fiber hinges. Again, as far as the design is concerned, I quite like both of them. However, in the Vivo, it has got the frosted glass back, which is kind of, you can actually see it's got a shimmery kind of a back. However, when you compare that with the Fold 6, you can actually see this one has got the carbon edition, and that is how Samsung is when it's opened. So this one opens completely flat, like 180 degrees. When you keep them open, that is how they look when they are open. You can actually see how slim the Vivo is. That's purely because the Vivo is 5.2 millimeters when they are opened versus the 5.6 millimeters for the Samsung Fold 6 when they are opened. The biggest complaint which we all had as far as the previous iteration of the Samsung foldable phones were the inner crease was too deep. But at least in this year, they have addressed that. Yes, you cannot hide the fact that in foldable phones, at the moment, you will see the crease, inner crease. But when you compare with the previous edition of the Samsung, this year, they have made it slightly better. Yes, there is a crease, but not as predominant as what you used to see last year. But when you compare that with the Vivo, Vivo also has got a crease, but not as deep. Still, Vivo does a very good job, as you can actually see. And when you want to close them, they close at any given angle. However, when you compare these two hinges, I would definitely say that Samsung has made a better hinge because they actually open and close at any given angle. Even at this angle also, they stay open, which is really good. When you see both of these phones, you can straight away see the huge camera bump in the Vivo when compared to the camera on the side of the Samsung Fold. For me personally, I actually kind of like the way Vivo has made the cameras. I'll tell you why. If I keep the phone in the desk, There's not much of a wobble, you can actually see. However, problem with the Samsung Fold is it wobbles quite a lot. It's really annoying. But apart from that, I like the design of both the phones. Some people like the compact form factor of the Samsung Galaxy Fold 6, where it's got a 6.3 inches of outer display, and when you open it up you get a 7.6 inches of display. However, some people might definitely like the screen what you get with the Vivo, as it's got a 6.5 inches of outer screen and an 8 inches of an inner screen. And also, when you are actually holding the Vivo, it actually makes you feel like you're actually holding a candy bar style phone. It doesn't make you feel like you're actually holding a fold phone, and that is a big massive advantage what the Vivo has when you compare it with the Samsung one, because in certain areas, no matter what, you have to open up the Samsung Fold to actually use the phone, as the outer screen is still narrow for typing. So that's how much they score in the design. And now talking about the display. Well, as far as displays are concerned, the Vivo X Fold 3 Pro comes with a 6.53 inches of outer screen, and the inner screen is an 8.03 inches. When you compare that with the Samsung has got a 6.3 inches of outer display, and the inner display is a 7.6 inches. So both have got an LTPO AMOLED display with the 120 Hz of refresh rate. Viewing your content or watching videos or media in either of the phones are absolute delight. However, when I compared the display of both of them, I actually felt the display in Samsung was slightly a bit better when I compared with the Vivo. But that doesn't mean that Vivo is bad. Vivo is a brilliant display as well. But I just give the slight nudge towards the Samsung. It's just the display in the Samsung is slightly more crispier and more sharper than the Vivo. So as far as display is concerned, I would give 4 to the Vivo and 5 to the Samsung. Now let's talk about the speakers. As far as the speakers are concerned, so both of them have got dual speakers, one at the bottom and one at the top. So let's see the output which is derived from both these phones. So as you can see, these are the outputs from both the phones. To be honest with you, both the phones do an excellent job as far as the speakers are concerned. I won't say they are the best of the best, but they are certainly very good speakers. So I would give both of them 4 points each, as they are very good. But as I said, I have heard much better speakers in other phones.